All right, so I know you're all dying to know what makes Magnus Carlsen tick. The guy many consider to be the greatest chess player of all time. Well, lucky for us, he sat down with Joe Rogan not too long ago, and that conversation, let me tell you, is pure gold.
Definitely a deep dive worth taking. We might even pull out 10 fascinating facts about Carlsen along the way, about his life, his wealth, how he got to be so good at chess.
Let's get right into it then. First things first, what do you think sparked Carlsen's interest in chess? Strict parents. One of those super intense training regimens from, like, day one.
It's the classic prodigy story, isn't it? But I have a hunch Carlsen's story is a bit more down to earth.
You think so? Well, let's go right to the source. Can we hear that clip where Carlsen explains how he actually got into chess?
Absolutely.
When did you start? How old were you when you first started playing?
I think my dad is an avid chess player, so I think he thought that I might have some talent, so he taught me pretty early at around 5 years old. But at that time, I wasn't that interested. I was mostly into Legos, and I was into maths and like sports stats, and I had my little flag book with all the countries in the world, their flags and their inhabitants and area and everything. And I sort of that's what I did. Generally, just taking in all the stats that I could, also with sports, reading the sports section every day. And I didn't find chess that fun. A couple of years later, my older sister, who's a year and a half older than me, she did a lot of chess with my dad. I started sitting in on them a bit, and I started liking it. I really, really wanted to beat my sister as well at generally everything. And yeah, from there on, it really just became my thing, and it's been my main hobby and eventually work as well since.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah.
Sibling rivalry. Who would have thought that's the origin story of a chess grandmaster, right? It's kind of funny, actually, don't you think?
It really is. And, it really highlights the power of intrinsic motivation. He wasn't forced into chess. He was drawn to it by the challenge, and honestly, probably by the joy of beating his sister.
That's hilarious. I bet that competitive spirit was key in those early days. Who knows? Maybe it's even more important than some super structured learning environment.
You might be onto something there. Maybe that's fact number 1 for our list. Sibling rivalry, the spark of genius.
I like it. Okay, so on to fact number 2. So on to a topic that's a bit, well, spicer. Fact number 3 has got to be the whole cheating scandal with Hans Niemann. That was wild.
Yeah, definitely a turning point for the chess world. Shook things up quite a bit, especially when it came to trust and fair play at that level.
It'd be great to hear Carlsen's take on the whole thing. Is there a clip where he lays out his side of the story, his suspicions and all that?
There is, and he even hints at the Netflix documentary that's coming out about it all.
Oh, even better. Okay, let's hear
And
it.
then, of course, there was like the big controversy with that young man who you believe is a big old cheater. That guy. I need to know the anal beads thing. Is that a legitimate theory?
So it actually started in one of my friend's streamer channel that like one random guy made a comment about anal beads, and he was like, yeah, maybe. And then I think it started taking the rounds in Reddit, and then Elon saw it, tweeted about it, and then obviously it blew up. But I really, really, really don't believe that has happened. Like, I think it has no connection to reality, but it just became a thing of its own.
So what made you convinced that he was cheating in that particular game? And by what method do you think he could possibly have been doing this?
Could you hear something? Was it like burnt? You're hearing vibrations?
You see his seat shift.
Yeah. You're smelling something? There's a whiff of something in the air?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the smoking gun, I suppose. But I think there was a combination of things, though, based on the chess level that I thought that he had, and that I'd seen from his game, both playing against him, analyzing a little with him, and looking at his other games. There were a lot of stories back then. The thing is also there's a Netflix documentary coming in a few months that sort of where I'm telling my side of the story. So I kind of go too deep into everything. But what I can say was that there were a lot of factors that made me very, very suspicious. And I think ever since then he has become better, but there's still something off.